Hello everyone and welcome to the Green Man channel. Hope you're doing good and well. So it's time for another one of my physical media update videos, except this time I'm not talking about CDs, I'm talking about DVDs, because as well as being a CD collector, I do also enjoy collecting DVDs too. So yes, sometimes collecting can become a little bit on the expensive side. Some of these DVDs though I got as gifts over Christmas, others of them I did go out and buy in stores, and I'm happy to say I think I like all of these films quite a bit. Some of these were releases from last year, from 2024. Others were releases that go a bit further back. Some of them are films I just, enjoy going back to now and then as well. So let's start off with the first one of these DVDs, which actually are two film DVDs, if you like. It's one case, but it's got two films. I think it's got two discs. Yeah, one for Escape Room 1 there, which hopefully you can see, and one for Escape Room 2. Here's the front cover. There you go, Escape Room and Escape Room 2 Tournament of Champions. So, if you don't know Escape Room, I'll probably be quite surprised, particularly if you like your horror. It's a little bit like, I'm hesitant to say the Saw franchise because Saw is a lot gorier, but it has that sort of setup of traps and rooms with traps in them and puzzles, and it's all that kind of survival horror type thing. Think Cube from the 90s as well, and you certainly could draw some parallels with that franchise. But I like Escape Room. Yes, it's a little bit safer. It doesn't sort of go as gory as those other franchises, but that can sometimes play in its favour as well. It sort of focuses your mind a bit on the puzzles in the rooms and the characters, and seeing like, for instance, I like the way Ben and Zoe's relationship kind of plays out in both films, and the peaks and kind of those moments work quite well for me personally. And I think that, Escape Room, the first film, is the one that's generally regarded as the better of the two films, but I kind of enjoy Tournament of Champions as well. It's very fast-paced. It's, for me, very exciting because it's so fast-paced and a lot of fun. Yeah, it doesn't always make a whole lot of sense, but, for these kind of films, I'm not necessarily looking for everything to be perfectly logical. I'm willing to give a bit of room for a bit of fanciful, imaginative stuff, in these kind of films as well, which you do get in Tournament of Champions, I think, as well. But, like I say, some of the deaths are actually quite creepy, I think, in the Escape Room films. So, as an example, in the first room, you get Danny's death, where he gets trapped under the ice, and people can see him struggling under the ice, and it's sort of kind of blurry as well, and I think that makes it kind of effective in a way. I find Danny's death actually quite memorable for that, and it's also the first death where the characters aren't sure whether this is a serious life or death game as well. So I kind of like that about that first death in the first film. Escape Room 2, I thought that the deaths of, I think it was Rachel and Brianna, were pretty well done. And that was the acid rain one, where, again, they could have shown that and it would have been really, really gruesome, but they didn't really show it much, and the camera kind of cut to an above shot of the two women in the rain. And I thought that was quite tense and pretty psychological too, in a way. Sometimes you don't necessarily see the gore takes you a little bit out of the death occasionally, and I think Saw, sometimes goes a little too far with just, it's part of the appeal as well as the Saw franchise, is the torture elements, but Escape Room kind of works at a certain level for me. So I enjoy Escape Room 1 and Escape Room 2 quite a bit. They just know what they are, and they're good fun. Next time I'm going to talk about Alien Romulus. Of course, a big release last year, this one. Directed by Fede Alvarez, starring Kaylee Spaney and David Johnson. And I thought both of them were really good in this film, actually. But for me, on rewatching, I think one of the weaker points of Alien Romulus is that the surrounding cast aren't too strong for me. And I think they could have done better developing some of the surrounding characters, like, Aliens did, for instance, and Alien, the first film, as well. And some of the problems with a lot of the films in the Alien franchise are underdeveloped characters. And I think Alien Romulus, for everything it gets right with atmosphere, good action sequences, and the claustrophobia, and some of the other callback elements, even though it goes a little bit too far with some callbacks for me and unnecessary callback lines, I do think the film gets quite a lot right. But yeah, for me, there were things it could have done better, and I hope Fede Alvarez does something even better than this if we get a follow-on to Alien Romulus. I'm thinking, would that be called Alien Remus? Because that kind of makes sense thematically, I don't know, but we shall see. what happens next with the Alien film franchise. Could be very, very interesting to see. Third DVD I'm going to talk about that I got I think, did I get this one as a gift even? Yeah, this is Strange Darling, directed by J.T. Morner, and I asked for it for Christmas partly because I missed it and I couldn't get to see it at the cinema. And I heard so many good things about it. I was like, I've got to see this film. This sounds like my kind of film. And I think it turned out to be the case. I liked the way that they did the time sequences or the order of events out of order. So you get certain things happening to keep you guessing. Certain events happen not in the order of the events that are actually unfolding in the story. And I think that works really well as developing the mystery. It kind of also helps to subvert your expectations of what you think is maybe going to happen in this film. And I have to say, I think Willa Fitzgerald is outstanding in this. I don't really know her from many other films. I think this might be the first film I've really properly watched her in. And I think this is apparently a breakout role. I can see why people might be saying that. She's superb in this film. She's absolutely fantastic. And Kyle Gallner as well, a lot of credit should go to him because he's also great as well. And they both, the chemistry between them is kind of sizzling. It's really, really effective. And Strange Darling, therefore, a good one if you like your horror thrillers or your mystery thrillers. Pretty gory, this one, and violent, so that's why that one's an 18. That was a good one. Next up, the big surprise of 2024, because it's a Blumhouse film, it was a remake, and those things don't sound promising for a film. But when you've got the McAvoy factor, and maybe the Mackenzie Davis factor as well, apparently that makes quite a lot of difference, because this Blumhouse film wasn't a bore at all. It was a big surprise, and one of my favourite films of 2024, Speak No Evil. What a fantastic film this turned out to be for me. I don't think I'm alone in thinking this. This was great. I liked the way James McAvoy's villain sort of captured both the gregarious sort of friendly nature of that character along with the super creepy, unpredictable elements. So, you kind of were a bit wary of him at the same time, kind of brought into him, which is exactly, I think, what he was probably going for and what that character should be like. The one in the first film was just kind of more pure evil. But by McAvoy being that way, you can see more why the other couple would be slightly brought in to their kind of ways. I thought this was a great film. A lot of people say they prefer the Danish one, but now this is a very rare case where an American remake of an original sort of foreign film is better. Absolute massive surprise for 2024. Speak No Evil. Another DVD which I think I bought out of my own money, this one. So this wasn't a gift, this is Lisa Frankenstein. Zelda Williams directed, stars Cole Sprouse and Catherine Newton. And I really enjoyed seeing this one at the cinema. I actually think I enjoyed this even more when I watched it again at New Year's, to be honest. It's something about the zeitgeist of the film, and I think I said this when I talked about this in a sort of mini review I did on a video a while back on the channel, that it chooses the music really, really well for different scenes. So you get, I think the film is visually really good as well. And so those combining elements work and elevate the atmosphere, and I think the comedy elements a little bit as well, although I thought the comedy was the one part of the film which could have been slightly better. But I think Catherine Newton's great. I think Cole Sprouse is great as a kind of silent, almost Frankenstein-like character that's sort of gradually being put back together, which is done pretty well too. There's a lot to like. It could become a cult classic, this one, I think, if it isn't already being regarded as that. It's a lot of fun. And it got me into the Chameleons, as I've said a few times before. It really did get me into that band, as I loved the Up the Down Escalator song, which is used in the film when I think they're sort of going through the wardrobe to find clothes for Cole Sprouse's Frankenstein character. Last, I've got a film which, to be honest, was a blind purchase. I just wanted to see what this was like. It's a Korean film. It came out in 2022, I believe that was its release year. Don't know a huge amount else. It was a thriller. I was sort of like, that sounds enough for me to buy. I love my thrillers. And I'm sort of interested in this one. Now, I have seen half of it. but it's a rare case of a film where I actually stopped watching. I just got very tired last night, and I need to finish watching this, to be honest, and perhaps should have filmed this video after doing that, but never mind, too late now. But it's quite interesting. It sort of keeps you involved just about enough. I have to say, at times I've been tempted to dip out of it a bit. But it's developing its central relationship between this detective and this woman that was a suspect, I think, in a murder. So it's kind of developing their relationship quite well so far. And there's one or two cool or funny lines in the film I'm noticing. They put in a bit of humour here and there, which is also, I think, helping the dialogue and helping keeping me part of the film. So I'm quite enjoying it. I'm hoping it gets a little bit quicker and more exciting in the second half of the film, which I can see it becoming. So looking forward to finishing this one off whenever I get around to it. Decision to Leave from 2022. If I didn't say that earlier, that's the film Decision to Leave from 2022. There you go. Thanks very much, everybody, for watching. Hope you enjoyed this DVD update. Yeah, I'll probably be doing a CD update as well, again, this time for February, as I've bought a few more CDs, which I'm conscious probably shouldn't be doing with my money at the moment, but never mind. It is part of my hobby and what I enjoy doing, so I make exceptions. But otherwise, from me, hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, everybody, it's bye for now.